Welcome to Switch Comics. My name is Marco, and it is Wednesday yet again, like it is every week, and that means it's New Comic Book Day. So, it was a bit of a small week for me. I didn't get too many titles. Now, granted, there's also some unforeseen circumstances that limited some of the things I got, but we're gonna talk about that later. First, let me tell you about my giveaway. I'm giving away 3 awesome comic bundles at 500 subscribers. That's right, 3 lucky subscribers will each win one of these 3 comic bundles. All you have to do to enter is simply be subscribed and leave a comment on this video. If you would like additional chances to win, you can watch other videos on my channel and leave comments on those as well. Each comment on a new video is another chance to win. Good luck. Okay, so there's definitely at least one title I know that I didn't get to pick up today. Our shipment from Diamond, well, they didn't send us the full thing, or they sent it in 2 different orders. So the next box should be coming either later today or tomorrow or something. I don't know. So we didn't get all of our books immediately. They're coming. And the only book I know that, there might have been others, but the only book that I know for sure that I would have picked up that I didn't was Siphon. I have to go back and look at everything to see if there was something else I was missing, but we'll see. Maybe I'll talk about it another time or something. If I get, another book that's really good or something that I want to talk about, I might talk about it next week or something. But let's go ahead and talk about what I did pick up. So I only picked up about, I think, like 10 books this week, which is, on the low end for me. So we're going to start with our Boom Studios comics, starting with Dark Blood number 2. And this one was pretty interesting. I do feel like it had a lot more to it. I feel like the first issue was very, very thin, very light, and just a little teaser. It was almost like I guess teaser is the best word. It just was a little introduction. It almost felt like sometimes you have a little, in the back of a comic, it'll be like, ooh, maybe you want to check out this other book. And it'll just have a little snippet of a story. It almost felt like that. It was so small. And then this one really fleshed some things out a little bit. There's a lot of time jumping in this story. And I still don't really know what's going on. This really focused on the main character and his wife, and kind of setting up some motives, I guess, and then also just showing their life before they call it the variants or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it's called. But we're building up to this moment, and it was a good issue. It, like I said, it left with a lot of questions, but we're just on issue number 2. Although I do think it is a mini-series, but it also feels like we're getting there. We're working towards the answers. They're just building up the suspense a little bit. And then moving on to our second Boom Studios book, we've got Good Luck. This is number 3, right? Yeah, Good Luck number 3, and I have been enjoying this series as well. This issue was a little bit, this series in general, I feel like is a little bit hard to follow. Maybe it's also because I'm very tired and didn't get enough sleep last night. But putting that aside, I just feel like there's a lot going on in this universe of, now I'm, in this issue you learn there's multiple gods of luck, and I don't know, I feel like they just kind of throw it at you, and there's a lot going on. And in the last issue, the what do they call them? The Unfortunates, I think is what the name of all the kids were. They died, or supposedly died. It didn't didn't end too well for them. But this issue, something happens with them, and I feel like it's fairly straightforward, but at the same time I'm a little confused. And I feel like that's a confusing answer in my own self, but that's how I feel. I feel a little bit confused about exactly what's going on. And this one, again, is another miniseries. I do feel like on this one, I should probably know a little bit more than what I do at this point. Maybe sometimes, they just, certain writers will just throw things at you, and you're like, you're just going to have to accept this. This is how things are, and we're moving on with the story. And maybe I'm just not ready. Keeping with that same concept, we have, this is an Image title. It's a number 1 new book this week called Echolands. And this is I picked it up because it's an interesting book, because not just the cover is horizontal like this, but it is the whole comic. And I I was like, I skimmed through it. The art was cool enough. Oh crap! I just realized there was another comic that I thought I picked up. There was one I picked up and I saw had a robotic cat in it. My brain just went somewhere else. I guess I left that one at the shop or something. But anyway, I skimmed through this one. I was like, the art's pretty cool looking, and this is definitely a super fantasy world. It is there's a lot of things that they just throw at you, and there's no explanations. And I know it's the first issue, but I feel like there's a lot that's just like, this is just how things are. Things are really weird, This super weird thing, super normal. We're not even gonna. That's a one panel. We're moving on past that. We're on to another weird thing already. Actually, no. You know what? We're on to 3 other new weird things right now. The main character here is magical, but to what extent I don't really know and I don't understand. She has a pretty cool attack that she does, I guess we'll call it. Fairly early on into the book. It's pretty fast paced, and in that it is enjoyable. I like the book, but man, I just feel like it was a lot. It was a lot of things happening. All of them were just weird, and it was like, and we're not looking back at that. We're charging forward. We're ignoring, any questions you may have. Save questions for after the tour is done. But with that in mind, it was a fun, different format. I'll probably keep checking it out and see where it goes from here. I don't recall if that's a miniseries or not. I want to say it is, but I'm not 100% sure. And then moving on to our Marvel titles. So we have Alien #6, and this was a pretty good issue. This is the ending of Chapter 1. And so we have the little resolution of the man trying to save his son, and also there's the hijacking going on and everything, and there's aliens afoot, and people are dying, and things are bad, but we're killing some aliens, we're fighting back a little bit, but really it's just one guy that's able to fight back. But he knows his stuff, he's been around them. I do feel like this was a satisfactory ending to the first chapter. There's going to be a shift in dynamic moving forward, I feel like. And I think I'm excited for it, but I also don't exactly know how it's going to go moving forward. So, with that in mind, I am curious to see what happens with it. You got the shady, business people that are trying to breed the aliens and get the super alien and all that jazz and whatever, and they're obviously very ruthless and don't really care if the people live, and other people are trying to survive, and they're kind of butting heads at that. They're like, business first, and they're like, we just want to live. And with that in mind, there's a conflict of interest, I guess. But we keep, what do they call her? The lady in the dark or something? I can't remember. They tease her a bit more, and that's probably the most interesting aspect to me about this comic, is I really, really want to find out more about her. And again, it's just a bit of a tease in this one. I feel like that's something that they're working on towards down the line, and I'm really curious to get there. I kind of don't think it's going to be for a little while though, but I'm along for the ride. I'm going to enjoy it. I've been enjoying it so far. All right, let's move on to what is this, number 16? We got Thor 16 here, and this is part 2 of 3 of a little mini. I don't want to say chapter. It's not a chapter, but arc, I guess. Yeah, the Revelations arc. And so Thor is trying to figure out still, his hammer's been becoming heavier for him, while other people have been able to pick it up. He had this vision given to him by the Black Winter of his supposed death, and he saw Thanos with a Mjolnir encrusted with the Infinity Stones, and an army of zombies behind him, and like a big black gauntlet. I don't know if that's supposed to be what gauntlet that is. Maybe that is something I'm just not familiar with it. But supposedly that is the vision of his death. And we learn that, a slight spoiler, I guess, it's literally on the first page, but we learn that he still has this dream, and he has, these thoughts every time he goes to sleep. And he's trying to figure out what it all means for him. And I think he's a bit scared. He doesn't know what to do. He feels somewhat powerless, and as if things are drifting away from him. And so I feel like this, because this is just a 3-part arc, I feel like this is, just going to be setting up concepts that we need to move into something big. So I don't think, this little mini arc is going to be super exciting or anything. I think it's going to be a lot of, just exposition in a way. It's interesting, I like it, but I think what's coming is going to be some crazy stuff, and I'm really, really excited for that. I also did pick up the Momoko. They're calling these the anime variants. I think this one was supposed to come out a while back, I guess, because all the other anime variants came out, it feels like maybe 3-4 weeks ago at this point. So yeah, here's the last one. We're finally done with those. So I have the complete set on that. And then moving on to Avengers Annual. It's part of the Infinite Destinies thing that Jed MacKay is doing. And this is pretty fun. I'm really interested in seeing what Jed MacKay has planned. So what he's doing is, the Infinity Stones were destroyed or something a while back, and they're coming back now, but they are finding hosts. So they're finding people to put their power in rather than they're no longer stones. So with that in mind, certain like villains, like these random villains and stuff, are suddenly much bigger threats, and they have an effect when, like, if I have a stone in me and someone else has a stone in me, or in them rather, and if we're closer to each other, we become more powerful. So I'm really curious, because I think it's all leading to, I think it's called Infinity Score. It's a Black Cat, like giant size issue, and that's like still not out for a couple more months. So he's planting a lot of seeds in all these different stories, and also within Black Cat as well. And it's kind of also piggybacking off of the events of Heroes Reborn. And so there's a lot of things going on that he's meshing together to make work. And his stuff on Black Cat has just been so good. And so I feel like, although everything else isn't his focus, he's making it kind of this worldwide event. But also, I'm under the assumption that this is going to be a big thing for Black Cat. Anyway, I feel like that's kind of, which is pretty cool, because the last big Marvel event we had was like King in Black, I think, and that's a Null, the god of the symbiotes, raining hell on Earth and killing all kinds of people and taking control of heroes and everything. And it's something that Donny Cates introduced set up. He introduced Null years ago and built into that, and that was a big event. And with Venom too, a very big character. And I feel like Black Cat being able to have this influence and being able to be in all these different stories and everything, I think is pretty cool, because I do really like Black Cat, and I think she's a pretty interesting character, and she's got a great story going on right now. So I'm excited that she's getting a lot of support, and it does seem that Marvel is very on board with supporting Jed MacKay, because he is. I feel like every time I got a preview magazine today too to check out the new stuff coming out, and it seems like every time I get another one of these, it's just more and more stuff that he's working on. And because he's writing an issue of Spider-Man here in a little bit. I think from what I can tell, it's just a single issue, but it's like they're just throwing him on all kinds of stuff. I mean, he's done so many annuals, and was able to take the annuals and link them in as part of Infinite Destinies. Like, it's a lot of trust to give, a writer, and I think he's doing a great job with it. And then the last few books here are things I haven't gotten around to reading because I'm behind. One of these days, I swear I'm going to catch up on it. I still have partial reason for not reading Strange Academy. What is this, number 12? I want that Momoko number 1 with magic on it, and I'm scared if I read the series and really like it, I'm going to buy it. And it's an expensive book, and I'm not made out of infinite money, so I'll get around to reading it eventually. I have the full series. I just need to take some time and read it. I'm dreadfully behind on Bounty Hunters though, or War of the Bounty Hunters rather. So Vader number 15, didn't get to read that this week, and then this is also Afra number 13. I picked up I think that's the cover C, just because it is a super cool looking cover. Really, really like that book, or I mean that cover anyway. I don't know if Django has anything to, or Boba for that regard. I don't know why he's on the cover of this. Probably just, what is it? It's a 50th anniversary cover or whatever. I don't think it has anything to do with Jango Fett, because he's not alive at this point. And Boba Fett's not a kid at this point. But let's see, if I had to pick my 2 or so favorite books of the week, I did really like Thor. And I think I'll pick Alien. I think these 2 books were my favorite books, and not to sound like a bummer, I enjoyed these books. Not the craziest week for books, I guess, though. I enjoyed what I read, but there's nothing that like absolutely blew me away. None of my absolute favorite titles came out. Although, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Thor, but we're in like I said, in a bit of a dip right now, setting some things up. And I'm really excited for the near future. I think what's going to happen after this Revelations arc, we might be getting into some like really crazy cool stuff. But sometimes you got to pause and set things up. I understand it takes time, and it is fun along the ride, but it's not the big hit, So that's what I picked out for this week. Like I said, there are some other books or at least a book that I didn't get to pick up. If I didn't say it earlier, but Siphon, another indie book. I can't remember what studio that is. But regardless, I'd love to know what you're reading. If there's something that I didn't get, even if I was gonna get it, and just the forces of nature were against me, the forces of diamond rather. But let me know. Is there something else I should have picked up this book or this week? Is there a book that is really awesome that I did not read? I would love to know. Did you read some of the books that I did? Did Echolands make a bit more sense to you than it did to me? Were you able to just be like, yeah, I'm okay with that? Or were you also a bit confused? That's going to be it, though, for today. Thank you for watching the video. Leave a like if you could, and I will see you next time.